This episode of Chat Chow is brought to you by Coral Gables Restaurant Week, June 6th through the 19th. For more information, visit coralgablesrestaurantweek.com. On this episode of Chat Chow, we'll be speaking to Wayne Eldred, General Manager here at Tarpon Bend in Coral Gables. Wayne, these drinks look beautiful. What are we drinking today?
Today we're going to have a Mamacita Martini and a Herradura Margarita. Mamacita Martini is one of our signature cocktails. It's a combination of vodka, some apple pucker, some fresh strawberries, muddled, shaken, and the splash of sour mix. This is by far one of our most popular martinis. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay. And this one?
This is a Herradura Margarita. This is something I came up with about 6 months ago. A good friend of mine works for a pretty large distribution company called Brown-Forman, and they purchased the rights to a brand called Herradura tequila, which is one of the first tequilas ever to be created. Top of the line shelf product. So we came in and he said, you know what, can we do something with it? And I was like, well, let me see what I can do. So what we did was we basically took a mojito concept and we morphed it in with a hint of raspberry and a splash of sour mix, and we came up with our Herradura Margarita.
Great. So, let's cheers. Take a sip.
Cheers.
I gotta be careful. Really good. Okay. I must say it's pretty calm today, unlike the Thursday and Friday happy hours that I've been here. You want to explain those happy hours a little bit?
You know, a lot of our young professionals, they work really hard during the week and then they start unwinding. And they try to start unwinding particularly around hump day, Wednesday. So Wednesday you start seeing everything kind of ramp up. Thursdays we have a great promotion where we have $3.50 mojitos all day long, all fresh fruit mojitos using Bacardi premium products. So you can walk in 11:30 in the afternoon, in the morning actually, and you can pick one of 6 mojitos, and you can drink all day long till about 11:30 at night. So that always does really well for us. And then Friday we just pack it in. We do, hundreds and hundreds of people come out. We pull people from Brickell, from Coconut Grove, from South Beach, Pinecrest. This has been, really the hub for the last 6 years down here in the Gables. So we've been very fortunate to be blessed with great guests that enjoy what we do.
What would you say makes Tarpon Bend unique, different, special, all those things?
That's a great question, and I've been asked that question a few times, and a lot of it has to do with, we're very passionate about what we do. I think the most successful part of the restaurant really is the staff. We've been very blessed to get a great group of team members in. Our owners are absolutely fantastic, very passionate about the business, so that gives us a lot of momentum to do the right thing for our guests. We focus on a few things. We just focus on quality, service, consistency, execution, and communication, and that really, those 5 driving factors along with our values allow us to really come in every single day, put our head down, and run hard.
That's great. So, speaking of unique, the first thing I noticed when I came here for the first time was these really large fans that are above us. Is there a story behind these fans?
These, it's kind of an interesting name. The name of these fans are called big ass fans.
Big ass fans.
Big ass fans. Industrial fans.
Okay.
This is on. It goes up to a speed of 10, and we're on speed 0 right now. So, funny story, this was about 5 years ago. It was a Saturday night. It was about 11:30 at night. We actually were packed. The restaurant was packed. We had a live jazz band that night, and it was getting really warm. So I'm walking to the office, and I look at one of my guys. I'm like, Keith, do me a favor, just turn the fans all the way up. Not really understanding the full potential of these fans. It was my first 4 months here. So I walk back to the office, and as I'm walking back out, because it goes fairly back, I hear this, and I'm like, what the hell is going on out there? So I come around the corner by the service bar, and I see beverage napkins just flying everywhere. Guests are looking up at the ceiling in terror. And I look at one of my guys, I'm like, turn the freaking fans off. So then I have to walk by about 12 tables and apologize for the fan footage. But needless to say, this fans never went that high ever again.
I can imagine.
So I think the roof almost took off. It was a lot of fun looking back at it.
Great story.
So.
Now I want to talk a little bit about your background. Before I was chatting with your staff members and they were telling me that you went to boarding school in England and that you use those stories to motivate them. So what are some of the things you tell them? And
That's absolutely correct. I was in boarding school. I'm mixed with British, Indian, and Portuguese. And at a very young age, my parents shipped me off to an all-boys boarding school in England, in a place called Surrey. Raised by Franciscan friar monks. So I saw my parents for probably like 2-3 months out of the year. Most of the time I was, like I said, full-time boarding. We went to school 6 days a week. Sunday was the only day we had off, and the monks taught us a lot. They taught us a lot about discipline. They taught us a lot about teamwork. Sports was mandatory, so you definitely get to hone your skills on motor skills at a very young age. And I was able to come back, at a much, later age in life and take the stories that I was part of and try and develop my stuff with the same stories. I think people are motivated when you can tell them great stories. You can tell them about things that really stimulate them and that they can kind of have some type of emotional binding to.
Yeah.
So,
what would you say is the key factor that you can attest to having a successful business?
Training.
Okay.
I think training is absolutely the most important factor. Now, mind you, there's obviously steps prior to training, and that's hiring. You've got to hire the right people that are passionate about what they want to do. You've got to find people that are autonomous, that you don't have to constantly babysit. People that they understand what perfection is, they understand what excellent is. They're not fine with mediocrity. I cannot tell you how often I've had staff members that have worked at other restaurants locally around the nation, and they come in and they look at me after their training. They're like, "Man, I've worked at a lot of restaurants, but good Lord, your training is like total boot camp. You only get to keep your hair." And it allows us to really understand why we do the things we do, and not just go out and do it.
Right.
And I'm a big fan of teaching my team why to do things. Because when you understand why you're doing something, you develop a much larger passion for it. You can actually go out and understand, well, this is wrong, this is right, this is a key detail that really allows people to be excited about coming back. Because food and beverage is a very small part of what we do. Really, at the end of the day, what we do here at the Bend is we sell experiences. So, when you come in and there's 600 people in here, our goal is to give them all the same experience as if you were the only person in the building, which is challenging, but you have to have good people to be able to do that.
What are some of your favorite items on the menu?
Some of my favorite items on the menu. Well, I'm a sweet tooth, so I'm going to start backwards.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the grandmother's apple cake, which is it's a warm apple cake, and it's combined with Granny Smith apples, pecans, caramel, and vanilla bean ice cream. My belly is actually sponsored by grandma's apple cake, so by far that's one of my favorite things. Then going into the entree, since we are working backwards, I like bold flavors, but sometimes simplicity does the job, and we have a phenomenal pan-fried snapper, which we created about 2 years ago. It's red snapper or yellowtail snapper, depending on what's in season. We simply pan-fry that with a beurre blanc, which is a really delicate lemon butter sauce, and I like it with yellow rice. What guests typically like, a lot of the guests love our seafood kettle, which is basically a medley of all our seafood items. Looking at mussels, clams, mahi-mahi, shrimp, calamari, and then we have some roasted vegetables in there, potatoes, zucchini, squash, and red peppers, and we braise that in a really zesty tomato spicy sauce and serve that on a sizzling kettle with sourdough bread. So.
I love your choices because I've had both of those and I couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Okay. Last question I like to ask, because it's on a personal level. If you were to die tomorrow, or it's your last day on Earth, what would be your last meal?
If you'd asked my staff this early, I think they would have all told you. I am a candy fanatic.
Okay.
So, back when I was in boarding school, this goes back a few years, my parents were living in Egypt, so they used to give me a bag, basically like a garbage bag full of candy. And I'm not a big chocolate fan, so I like Skittles, Sour Patch Kids, Fruit Pastels, Starburst, all that fun stuff. And for basically years and years and years, as far as I can remember, I used to probably consume about 30 pounds of candy a month. And I'm not even stretching the truth here. 2 years ago, I got pretty sick, and I decided that I needed to kind of reel back. So I've reeled back to about 5 pounds of candy, which I've given up. I've actually given it up for Lent, which has been very challenging for me. Candy, probably a bag of Skittles. I'd be just throwing down on my deathbed.
I like that.
So,
bag of Skittles.
Simple. Simple.
That's great. I want to thank you.
My pleasure.
So much, really.
Greatest pleasure.
You were fun.
Thank you.
Let's cheers, say goodbye.
Cheers.
We have to finish these.
All the best. Let's chug, right? Let's go.
I can't chug.
We'll have to switch to tequila.